Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our men's advanced Bible study night, Friday night, 31st of January, 2025. Okay. Our topic inside the room is the four beasts, but we're looking at it from we've studied the four beasts from the book of Daniel and from Second Ezra, but I'm going to deal with four beasts from the book of Second Barak. We're going to break that down and tie all of it in together. Okay. You can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine, get the meat out, okay, and share them, okay. Uh, and if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. And for those that want to support the channel, help it move along, we have our cash app at the bottom of the screen. That too would be greatly appreciated. Okay, we have our hours of operation, hours that we're live is Tuesday night and Wednesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. We have our men's advanced Bible study on uh, Friday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Then we have two Shabbat classes, one in the morning at 10 to 12 a.m. Then we come back and close out the Shabbat in the evening uh, from 6 to 7. And then we have our Sunday Shabbat class, Sabbath class, excuse me, our Sunday advanced Bible study class. It's at 5. Normally it's about an hour, maybe an hour and a half that we kind of connect some dots and then we go over a lot of the stuff that we dealt with during the week, sort of like a recap. So if anybody want to be check that out, you can come in. You're welcome. Okay. So and yeah, and also we have our women's advanced Bible study on Thursday nights, but it's on our sister channel, which is Israel Wake Up. That's at 7 to 9 uh, Central Time on every Thursday night. Okay, the men can come in through the YouTube channel, which is Israel Wake Up. Okay. With that being said, we're gonna deal with our moment of silence, prayer, Psalms, current events. We have some need to know information. Then we open it up for some Q&A. And then we go into our topic that I mentioned earlier, which is we're dealing with the four beasts, but we'll be dealing with it from the perspective out of the book of Second Barak, the breakdown and the vision that Barak had and the understanding that he received. Okay. Then we'll pick a scripture out and then we'll close out. Okay. So with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, I pray unto the Lord my God that we make our confessions, oh Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us a confusion of face as it is this day, to the men of Judah and unto the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven us because of our trespasses, we have trespassed against thee. O Lord, hear this prayer and cause thy face to shine upon thy people and for your sake. O Lord, open your eyes and incline your ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do and defer not for thy own sake. For your people need you desperately at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna read the Psalms.
Yes, sir. Shalom. Uh,
Okay.
Brother Leonard, I'm gonna be reading Psalms 91,
Okay.
and the subtitle for verses 1 through 10 in my study Bible says the secret place of the Most High, and so it says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings shall you trust. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you behold and see the reward of the wicked, because you have made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, your habitation. There shall no evil befall you, neither shall any plague come nigh your dwelling. The charge of God's angels. Verse 11. For he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. They shall bear you up in their hands, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shall you trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. He will be with him in trouble. Oh, excuse me. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
Okay, you got any comments on that? Or
Well, yes, yes, sir. In verse 4, it says, and he shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings shall you trust. His truth shall be your shield and your buckler. I mean, that's plain as day that the Lord of hosts is an angel.
right, exactly. And they people cyborg that, but they don't see it. He literally telling you who he is right there. Exactly. And the thing about it is, I know I like it 13, 14, and 15 because he says, you know, if you turn toward him, right? He says, thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, which is a snake, and the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample underfoot, because, right, talking about the Israelite, because he hath set his love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. And he shall call upon me, and I will answer him, and I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him, and I will honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So we see this right here, these verses in effect with all the righteous men in the scriptures, with Adam, Seth, we see it with Abraham, Noah, David, Solomon. They all had long life, and we see all of the deliverances that the Lord of hosts got them out of, because they set they trust and they love and they praise on Him, and in return, He took them out of every drama that came up. He was there, got them out of it, and it's that simple. That's all we have to do. Okay. Anybody have any comments? Any other comments?
Oh,
Okay.
shalom, brother Leonard. I was gonna say too when he says in verse 5, you should not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Um, where was the one verse? Because it was saying, oh, my fault. Is verse 10. There shall be no evil. There shall no evil befall you, neither shall any plague come near your dwelling.
Right.
And you know, just because I was also thinking about that. You had said something in another few classes, just that um it made me realize too. that in Africa they have it worse than we do.
Well,
And
exactly.
then, I think people over here think that we have it worse. But we ain't gotta worry about rebels coming through and shooting up the whole city. And
Right.
and with the gangs, it's more controlled areas wherever the gangs are at. And so
Right.
I was just thinking about that and thinking about how, you know, I I really haven't had to worry about danger that I haven't put myself in. I mean, even really my whole life, but especially now. So that's what that verse reminded me of, though. And you had kind of said that the other day,
Right.
that
Exactly.
ain't nothing gonna happen.
Right. Exactly. It's when you understand that he says he's looking at Israel as a man and Judah, Benjamin, Levi is the head. We the ones that's supposed to bring the judgment, and we the ones supposed to lead the nation of Israel. And so uh, we the ones took the brunt of the punishment when we was cast out. That's we the one. Judah, Benjamin, Levi was scattered over the whole world. The 10 tribes, they still over there where they came from, and they left out of Israel and they came into Africa, and they still there. And you can see uh, the difference in the punishments on them and on us. Okay, yeah,
Yes, sir.
right. So with that being said, we go to these current events and we'll play it, and then we'll talk about it.
Stopping by, you are appreciated. If you want to know about Africa, you are at the right place. Okay? You want to know what's happening in Uganda, you are at the right place, my brother. You want to know what's happening in South Africa, Nigeria, you are at the right place. And we hit very hard. You want to know what's happening in Kenya, people disappearing, then reappearing, then they don't talk anymore. You are at the right place. We're going to talk about it. I salute you from all over the place. My name is Zach. I don't know who you are, but if we watch each other for 2 minutes, we're going to love each other. No doubt about it. Please subscribe. I know many of you here, a lot of you watch videos, but you're not subscribed. I don't know why you do that, man. I mean, why you do that? Don't you like me? But I like you. Come on, click on the button. Let's make this bigger. My goal is by the end of next month, let's make it 200,000. Can we do that? Great. So we are in Niger. We're going to be very quick. Now, in Niger, they've changed street names, fellas. Okay. The Niamey Authority have renamed several streets in the capital, abandoning French colonial heritage to honor national heroes.
Le souvenir de son passage a marqué certains de nos centres urbains, le nom de ceux-là même qui nous ont causé du tort. Désormais, nous allons promouvoir nos intérêts nationaux, revalorisant notre histoire et faire honneur à nos ancêtres.
Is this a good thing? Congratulations. Let's clap in. Yay, yes. Now we need to see, does this make any logical sense? Or this is just some wind, well, I'm free now, I can do whatever I want. How is this beneficial to Nigerian? We're going to try to find out. So they had a ceremony to rename the street, that was changed on the 26th of January. They had a big ceremony with a lot of people, with generals and colonels and all these prominent people coming together to rename the street. Now, here are some of the names that were changed. There is a change in Avenue François Mitterrand. Who was François Mitterrand? This guy, a French president. Now, this French president organized many coups in Africa, obviously. Thomas Sankara, remember Thomas Sankara? This is the guy from Burkina Faso. For those of you who don't know, Thomas Sankara was a young man. He was about 33 years old when he became president. He was the first president to reduce his own salary. Imagine becoming a president and you say, you know what, I'm a president now. Don't pay me the money. I just want half of it, or actually 1/3 of it. Would you do that? Now, let's be honest. Would you do that? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. I know you love your country, but you wouldn't do that, right? Because many people perceive that as an opportunity to do good to themselves, right? It's very sad, but that's the reality. Thomas Sankara was the first president saying, you know what, no, I just want a normal salary as a soldier, and yeah, let's build our society. Thomas Sankara also initiated Burkina Faso people from consuming Burkina Faso made clothing, Burkina Faso made food, Burkina Faso made things. He pushed his own people into being self-sufficient, and they hated him for that. because he said he doesn't want to pay debts anymore. You know, the debt that you get from World Bank and IMF. They give you debt, you know, they give debt to African countries to go, you spend it. But when you can't pay back, then they unalive you. If they can't unalive you, they will loot the country.
Votre conférence adopte la nécessité de dire clairement que nous ne pouvons pas payer la dette. Même pas dans un esprit belliqueux, belliciste. Ceci pour éviter que nous allions individuellement nous faire assassiner. Si le routier
electricity from Nigeria. Yes, these are two different countries. Okay, this is Niger, this is Nigeria. Again, Niger, Nigeria. Now you know, Niger, Nigeria, two different countries. In Niger, they speak French. In Nigeria, they speak English. Of course, when Niger was colonized by the French, Nigeria was colonized by the British. Now, Nigerian people get electricity from Nigeria. And I know Nigerian people are here saying, but we don't even have electricity ourselves. Yes, you don't have electricity, but Nigeria has electricity, just not for you. Nigeria has enough electricity for sale.
What you didn't use, that's not like this area. Off and out, 30 minutes it will come, it will go. Then you use it, you don't use. You have a meter. That's not like.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw. I don't know if y'all remember the video I played, maybe a month or so ago. If you go to all those African countries, or all the judges and the Supreme Court justices, they have on these white wigs representing, you know, like I guess it represents Thomas Jefferson, you know, the white man. So they would wear these white wigs on their head in the chamber as judges, and so they came. Torre started it. He banned it. He made them throw those away. They burned them, and so now we see that in these same countries, they changed all the street names because they had all the street names and all these different buildings named after these European colonizers. So they doing away with all that. That's what this guy was talking about. What they doing in Niger. They having ceremonies to rename the streets in the city and in the capital and all that. So they actually totally getting away from the European and the Edomite. Any comments on that? Okay.
Oh, shalom, brother Leonard. I did see that because I seen that Torre had also like changed the military uniforms, I guess, too, back to what it was supposed to be. And like, yeah, well, you already said take the wigs off, but there was also like a certain uniform they wore too, the lawyers.
Right.
Yeah, with the African print on there.
Exactly. Right. They're getting away from anything got to do with the European or with the West. Okay, something?
Yes, sir. It's crazy.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So let's check this out.
Disaster. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announcing the 25% tariffs against Mexico and Canada will happen forthwith. She says it's going to happen on Saturday. That immediately caused the market to plunge. I want to show you this moment. Have
anybody heard about that?
No, sir, I haven't.
Yeah, this just happened today. The press secretary, the blonde-haired white girl, big mouth white girl, said that Trump is gonna have. They asked her when was what is he gonna do, pertaining to Canada and Mexico and all that, and are he gonna have tariffs? And she came back and said that tomorrow on Saturday he's gonna impose 25% tariffs on Canada, 25% tariffs on China. 10% tariffs on China and 25% tariffs on Mexico, and immediately the stock market crashed. Check it out.
Went down, and then I want to fact check Caroline Leavitt as well.
Right, it went
Let's
down.
play the clip.
Friends of Reuters are reporting that the president has made a decision on the Canada-Mexico tariffs, but that they want to actually be implemented until March 1st. So I was wondering if you could confirm that and talk through some of the things.
I saw that report and it is false. I was just with the president in the Oval Office, and I can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
The president yesterday said that last night.
Well, buckle up, folks. Here comes the trade wars. If you thought prices are high now, just you wait. A number of fact checkers out there also made it clear. Look, she says at the end of the clip that fentanyl has killed, quote, tens of millions of Americans. That number struck me as unlikely, said Aaron Melnick. He goes, so I went and just looked up the CDC statistics. Total combined drug overdose deaths from 2003 to 2023 were 1.1 million. That's over 20 years. As James Serwicki says, so Levitt just claimed that fentanyl ODs have killed tens of millions of Americans. Bad as fentanyl deaths have been, for sure, that's overstating the number by at least 2,000%, but no one cares because it's just accepted that the Trump administration's just going to make crap up. Who cares, though, is the economy cares, business people care, consumers care, we the people actually care. Here's the moment where Fox News has to note, and I put news in quotes, that Levitt's tariff announcements are prompting a stock sell-off, crashing the market. Play this clip.
Said promises made, promises kept. That will be happening. 25% for Mexico, 25% for Canada, 10% tariffs on China. There was a bit of a market reaction. You can see the Dow off more than 200 points. If you pop up the big board, John, you'll see right about the time she confirmed that these will begin tomorrow, shortly after the 1 o'clock Eastern time hour. That's when you saw the Dow sell off, and not a huge sell off, but there was certainly a reaction to that.
Well, they have still got 10 hours to try to avoid tariffs before they snap into place at 12:01 a.m. So I wouldn't be surprised if the president hears from Canada and hears from Mexico and maybe even gets a call from his friend Xi Jinping. Don't know.
Here's the meme that we made of Caroline Levitt. Hey, liberal. Then she goes and crashes the economy. Next up, you have Caroline Levitt, who just looks so utterly unprepared up there, and she's asked a question by someone who said, look, we just spoke to the Colombian president. They're preserving what the status quo was under Biden. There really is no deal, Caroline Levitt. They're saying that they're not going to let anyone into Colombia if they're sent via military plane or handcuffed and shackled. What do you say, Caroline Levitt? Watch this.
A question on Colombia. We just interviewed Colombian President Gustavo Petro, and he insisted that he's not going to take any Colombian deportee from the U.S. if they arrive in South America handcuffed. How this administration responds to that?
When did the Colombian president make those remarks?
Today, during an interview with us at Univision.
Well, I will share those with the president of the United States, and I will get back to you on his response.
She goes, ooh, I'm going to go to the president. Let's see what the president has to say about that one. More tariffs, I guess, is what the president is going to say about that, as it pains me to even call that pathetic individual in the Oval Office that. So then you have the Fox host, Peter Doocy, asks the question, well, given all that we know about DEI within the FAA, it's not safe for people to take flights now, is it? It's no longer safe to fly. Watch this response. Play it.
And President Trump is telling us that air traffic control towers are staffed with unqualified controllers, these DEI hires who never should have been brought on. And it's not safe to fly commercially, is it?
The president was asked to answer this yesterday, and he believes that it is still indeed safe, and Americans should feel safe traveling our skies. With that said, two things can be true at the same time. And we certainly have seen the deterioration of federal hiring standards at the Federal Aviation Administration. And the president wants to increase those standards. He wants pilots in this country who have the great responsibility of flying American citizens by the tens of millions every single day to be chosen for that position based on their merit and their skills. And so the administration will continue to prioritize this.
What is going to get worse if, let's just say, all of the people at the FAA accept the buyout, that you're trying to push out all of the government workers? Who's going to work these jobs? And she answers with a non sequitur saying, actually, this is going to lead to more hiring. Here, play this clip.
Two questions. So we now know that the staffing was not normal at the air traffic tower, and so with the government freezing the hiring of new federal workers and offering buyouts, are you not afraid that more incidents of different kinds could happen with less staffing in different agencies?
Well, the president is intent on ensuring that we are increasing staffing at these agencies, and that's why he signed a very strong executive order on his second day in office, immediately terminating DEI hiring practices at the FAA. He also, following the tragic crash, as you all know, in the Oval Office yesterday, signed a memorandum directing an immediate assessment of the FAA to ensure the federal government is maintaining the highest personnel and aviation safety standards. And I would also just say there's a cultural piece to this as well. If you are an American who has spent many years studying aviation and you graduate from school and you're an air traffic controller based on skill and merit, and then you apply for a job and you're forced to fill out a biographical questionnaire asking you the color of your skin and asking you where you're from in details that aren't relevant at all to the job description, I think that deteriorates the morale of people in this industry. And if you talk to people in this industry, they'll tell you that. In fact, many of them filed a lawsuit against the FAA a couple of years ago under Joe Biden's administration because they were denied positions because of this DEI hiring practice that was putting identity politics over merit and skills. That's unacceptable. And I think just to put a fine point on this, because this is the third or fourth question I've answered on this subject, when you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense. Rob Crilly.
Yeah, we're getting
Okay. Any comments on that?
Oh, shalom, Brother Lynn. I wanted to back up real quick. You know, he's having a problem already with power with the Federal Reserve about the interest rate.
Right.
Right. Now, I heard that he cannot fire this man, but he's fixing to have a problem with him. And this guy, Power, has his own mind about when he need to, drop that interest rate. They're still dealing with the inflation.
Right. Right. Yeah, he all over the place. He's so like I was saying, he's an idiot. He don't even know where his role is and the things that he can control and the things he can't. He's all over the place trying to deal with. I mean, a lot of those executive orders is over his head. He can't even really implement those, but he putting them out there, hoping that the people is going to be he's going to intimidate them. But by law, it's a lot of things he's doing that he's not even authorized to do. And that's one of them. Okay. And then I want to shine a light on this press secretary. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but the previous press secretary, they did everything they can to try to embarrass her. She was black. Now this right here, this a nut bucket. If you haven't checked her out, you need to check her out. And she is not. I mean, you can see just on her delivery and then her gestures, her ways. She's stone cold redneck. Yeah. Any comments, questions before we move on?
I was gonna say, Brother Leonard, Trump is just overseeing the downfall because, like you said, everything he doing is here, there, and everywhere. I mean, it damn near it gotta be on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
All these different things that just don't add up and don't make sense. even on top of him being president anyway, you know. But
Yeah.
those, you know, and then those flights, not having flights, you know, that's a big part of the economy. And I never liked flying anyway. And then, you know, something like that just happened. Them planes that just crashed, then how they talking about it in the media, it's like, nah, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna fly. Yeah, that's gonna hurt the economy. So it's just,
Right.
it's going down.
Oh yeah. Then it's crazy because he's trying to say that all of a sudden now that he in office, the government is not sufficient. It ain't running right because of the people that they have in certain places. And the people was there before you got there. Everything was running smooth. All of a sudden now it's a problem about the people that they hiring, they insufficient.
Yes, sir. And Brother Leonard, I think this afternoon another plane, I don't know if it was a small one or not, went down in Philadelphia, I thought I heard.
Okay. Yeah, I need to check that out. See what's up with it. Yeah, I played bouncing off what you just said, AJ, about they trying to bring the government down. I played this last night on the women's line, so I'm gonna play it tonight. This for our this is for need to know information. Okay, let me get it. This explains it all right here. Let me get it.
Yes, sir.
This crazy.
Rachel Maddow just uncovered a massive Trump scandal that nobody noticed. And this is much larger news than you would initially think, so make sure you stick to the end to hear all of it.
But it was only about 6 months ago that Donald Trump announced who he was going to run with for this past election. It was about 6 months ago that we got J.D. Vance announced as Trump's vice presidential running mate. His record as a public official, or even just his record kind of as an adult, was hard to explain. For most of his adult life, he had been basically a protege, realistically more like an intern for years and years and years for one very eccentric, very right-wing, German-born tech billionaire. That particular eccentric billionaire had basically adopted J.D. Vance, had set him up in a whole series of jobs, none of which he had very much success at. But then the billionaire decided that the next job he wanted to put J.D. Vance into was the United States Senate. And so he essentially bought a Senate campaign for him. He made the largest single political donation ever made to a U.S. Senate candidate in American history. And he effectively ran his campaign. And that is how J.D. Vance was effectively given the only job he ever had in politics before he then immediately became vice president of the United States. And, you know, at that point, when he was chosen to be Trump's running mate, you could basically not see him for all the red flags around him. You couldn't make him out amid all the red flags. I mean, the billionaire who gave him all of his jobs and installed him in the U.S. Senate, and who then reportedly told Trump to put him on the ticket with him as his vice presidential running mate, that billionaire himself is on the record saying he does not believe in democracy. He does not believe that women should have the right to vote in America. He once spent a small chunk of his huge fortune trying to get people to move onto floating sea colonies made from shipping containers, because that would be a better way to live than living in countries, because countries are so terrible and so is democracy, right? So that's the political project of the guy whose other political project was putting J.D. Vance in at the top of the U.S. government.
Right, so this ain't nothing new. They did the same thing with Obama. He came out of nowhere. They had him do that little speech at the Democratic National Convention, and the next year he was running for president. He was in the White House. This Esau right here. This is how he worked. Check this out, though. This is crazy.
This is how the guy talks. This is how he was auditioning to be chosen as Trump's vice president.
Almost the thing that you need to do, step one in the process, is to totally replace, like rip out like a tumor, the current American leadership class, and then reinstall some sense of American, political religion.
Rip it out like a tumor. Rip it out like a tumor. He said, whatever it is we've had in this country, rip it out like a tumor. So this is very bad news, right? When J.D. Vance would do podcast interviews and talk about how the government should, conservatives should see the government and government should seize the endowments of private universities, with conservatives in control, they should find ways to hurt even private companies that don't support the leader. Said we should rip out the current class of Americans like they're a tumor. Right? When he talked about all these things in these very radical right podcasts, he'd get his interlocutors very excited, these guys who he was talking to. And very frequently they'd want to know more. They'd try to get him to talk about where it was that he got all these great ideas.
How do we, aside from elections, how do we rip leadership class? So these institutions are corrupted and rotted to the core. This elite ideology is everywhere and in all the things. What other options do we have besides voting them out, which we're seeing is ineffectual?
Yeah, so again, this is like a tough question, but this is maybe the question that confronts us right now, right? So there's this guy, Curtis Yarvin, who's written about some of these things.
There's this guy, Curtis Yarvin, who's written about some of these things. Donald Trump had to get rid of his first-term vice president because his first-term vice president wouldn't help with his effort to overthrow the government and stay in power despite losing an election. And so Trump sicked a violent, angry mob on Capitol Hill, and that angry mob then proceeded to try to hunt down Trump's vice president, screaming that they wanted to kill him, hang Mike Pence. So that didn't go great. He needed a new guy. For the new guy, he picked this rando who had only been in the Senate about 5 minutes, who nobody in the country had really heard of, who had no political skills to speak of, who was deeply unpopular from the first moment he was named, but he was really linked in to an eccentric, very far-right tech billionaire political faction. And the political guru of that political faction, the guy who inspires all of their political goals, is this one guy.
You know, there's this guy, Curtis Yarvin, who's written about some of these things.
Knowing chuckle from the podcast interview. Oh yeah, Curtis Yarvin. This guy, Curtis Yarvin, that's who J.D. Vance cites as the guy who's been doing the big thinking about this stuff. You tell me if that explains what we are living through right now, today, in the news, because here is Curtis Yarvin.
Why has no one ever suggested, let's just get rid of this thing? You have a government in Washington. You're either for it or against it. But what is government? A government is just a corporation which owns the country. Nothing more, nothing less. It so happens that our sovereign corporation is very poorly managed. And there's a very simple way to replace that, which is what we do to all corporations that have failed. We simply delete them. We haven't been able to do that with our government for 2 years. So it's not a little bit stale. The other thing about getting rid of your government is you can't just say, well, the limits of the government are the limits of the formal government. You have to say, well, what is the system actually? And it includes a lot of things that are called NGOs, things that are called universities, things that are funded by the state. It's a very, very large system, and it all needs to be destroyed.
NGOs, universities, things that are funded by the state. It's a large system, and it all needs to be destroyed. Because we need to, in his words, delete the government, delete the whole system, including nonprofits, including universities, including everything the government funds. We need to destroy all of it. And why would you do that? What would you want to replace it with?
You need a CEO, and a national CEO is what's called a dictator. It's the same thing. There's no difference between a CEO and a dictator. If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over the dictator phobia.
Americans are going to have to get over their dictator phobia. We need to delete the government, destroy all nonprofits and schools, and get rid of everything the government funds. We need to bring it all down to zero. We need to destroy the whole system. And the reason we need to do that is so we can have a national CEO take over and run everything. And what is a national CEO? A national CEO is a dictator. Just run that definition one more time.
You need a CEO, and a national CEO is what's called a dictator. It's the same thing. There's no difference between a CEO and a dictator. If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over the dictator phobia.
Americans need to get over their dictator phobia. this is the philosopher, right, of this milieu from which we got J.D. Vance. This is the philosophy that drives the eccentric billionaire class that has ascended, that is effectively the defining feature and driving force of Trump's second term. That is where
Project 2025.
They got J.D. from. Quote, Vance is friends with Curtis Yarvin, whom he openly cites as a political influence. And this isn't like a Rosetta Stone, you know, it's not that complex. But they really did tell us in advance what they were going to do, and now they are doing it.
Exactly.
And I think the biggest barrier to getting Americans to understand that during the election campaign was because it was so crazy you couldn't believe they were really going to do it, right? But now they're doing it. Because in order to delete the government, to destroy the whole American government and the American system and rip it out like a tumor, so instead we can get over our dictator phobia and at last have a national CEO. We can at last have a dictator. What do we have to do to get there? What's the operational day one plan to get there? What should we see these guys try to do if in fact they get that power that J.D. Vance says they need to wield more ruthlessly?
So I introduced this very complicated problem to a simple 4-letter acronym, which is RAGE. And RAGE stands for Retire All Government Employees. Very, very simple. Now, the problem with this is, why have you never heard this before?
Retire all government employees. It's interesting. He doesn't say fire them. He says retire them, both because RAGE is a better acronym than phage. But he also is suggesting giving them all payouts, giving government employees generous payments so they will all leave the government, so the government can be closed, can be deleted, can be collapsed, so that we can have a national CEO, so we can have a dictator instead. It's a pretty out there idea, right? Pretty wild, pretty far out there, as J.D. Vance might say. But here's what it looks like tonight in the flesh, because they're actually trying to do it. Tonight, a buyout program for every worker in the U.S. federal government. Quote, if you choose to remain in your current position, we cannot give you full assurance regarding the certainty of your position or agency, but should your position be eliminated, you will be treated with dignity. If you choose not to continue in your current role in the federal workforce, we thank you for your service to your country, and you will be provided with a dignified, fair departure from the federal government. This program begins effective January 28th, meaning today, and is available to all federal employees until February 6th, next Thursday. Quote, if you resign under this program, you will retain all pay and benefits regardless of your daily workload until September 30th, 2025, or earlier if you choose to accelerate your resignation.
Okay. Any comments on that? What do you think?
Brother Leonard, shalom.
Okay.
What I'm really looking at is, I know that I don't know the real dates and the real times, but just looking at how I think that the year starts more closer to April, right? So I'm just looking at what's going to be going on in April and looking at that around that time is really going to be a new year. I'm like, man, are we really going to make it to summer?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's all that was my.
Right. Well, you see right now where they got the ideas from, and like she just said, they doing what that guy said. They trying to collapse the government. They want a dictator, because you can't be. What else can you be trying to do if you start putting tariffs on China with everything you see going on? Come on. So you know the people are going to retaliate. And that's what China doing right now. China got tariffs on America. So that's the last person you want to do deal with China, cutting them off. That's what we getting all our goods. You talking about shelves getting empty? They're gonna definitely be empty when you start messing with China. Okay, anybody else got anything on that?
Brother Leonard, I seen too with Brazil. I think I can't remember. Maybe Brazil stopped trading with America, or there was like certain produce that we stopped getting from Brazil. So I know that's gonna mess up the economy too. And they're with BRICS, so
Right. They just gonna start trading amongst themselves and just eliminate the U.S. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna some of the
exactly.
stuff
Yes,
gonna
sir.
disappear off the shelves. That's crazy. Ain't no way they can win that war. That's crazy. Anybody else got anything? Okay. We go to I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they heard on the line or they came across? They want to talk about it? Dialogue?
Shalom. I got a question, Brother Leonard, if no one else got a question. In the in the uh in the other book of Jasher,
Okay.
the um chapter 2 in there talks about how Nimrod came up against Peleg. So that was something that just that I didn't know. But my question, well, not even a question, a connection I had made was in chapter 2 verse 6 says, and Japhet and his sons' sons said unto Noah, behold, you are our father, permit us, we beseech you, seeing the land is not able to bear us, our children and our herds and our flocks, to pass over and dwell in Shinar. So so they wanted to live around the fallen angels. I don't think I've ever had seen it where it said they actually lived in Shinar.
Right. They don't. They're not listed in those nations. We see. Let me look at it. Go to Genesis chapter 11. Okay. And I had talked about this before. Genesis chapter 11, and you'll see that. Let me get it. Just doing the Tower of Babel. Genesis chapter 11. And you'll see that. And a lot of people read over this too. But you see that. Let me get it. Yeah, the book tore all up. Okay. Yeah, and see, if you start at verse, matter of fact, I'm gonna play a video after a while. It's kind of tied to this. It says, I'm in chapter 10 and starting at verse 26. It's Joktan. Remember, Eber had twins. He had Peleg and Joktan. So we pick it up in Genesis 10:26. Joktan begot Almadad and Sheleph and Hazar, Meob, and Jared, and Hadron, and Uziel, and Dikla, and Obel, and Eben, and Sheba, right? And then verse 26 says, okay, 29, Ophar, Jobed, all these were the sons of Joktan, and their dwelling was from Mishta as thou goest unto Sephir at the mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem after their families and after their tongues and their lands and their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations and their nations. And by these were the nations divided in them. So we see right here, Shem was Shem's descendants was close to where he got two different boys. Eber, let me get it. Eber had two sons. You go down here to chapter 10, verse 21. Sons of Shem, it says, and unto Shem the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japhat, the elder, even unto him were children born, children of Shem. See that? Elam, Asher, Alphat, Lud, and Abram. And the children of Abram, Uz, Hul, Geder, and Alphat begot Shelah. Shelah begot Eber, right? Then unto Eber were born two sons. They twins, if you don't know that. Sons. The name of one was Peleg, and in his days, right? It says the earth was divided, and his brother name was Joktan. So it's two boys. So just like with Abraham and Lot, when they got close to the land of Sodom and Gomorrah, which is wicked, that region was wicked. Abraham and Lot parted ways. Abraham went away from Sodom and Gomorrah, but we know Lot ended up in Sodom and Gomorrah. The same thing right here. Peleg descendants, both Peleg and Joktan from Shem, but Peleg went away from the tower, what's going on with the Tower of Babel, which is Shinar. But Joktan and his descendants, they ended up over in the land of there, not Japhat. Joktan is out of Shem's lineage. You see that?
Yes, sir.
They got two sons, Joktan and Peleg. Joktan ended up over there where Peleg was at. I mean, over there where Nimrod and Shinar was at. But Peleg went away from them. He, like it says in the scriptures, Abraham excused evil. David excused evil. So Peleg excused evil. But Joktan, he ended up over there where that region, the region where the Tower of Babel was at, and where Shinar was at. So he was pretty much cold trailing Nimrod. Okay. And the video I'm gonna play in a minute is gonna explain to you how that actually went down. Okay. Anybody else got any comments on that? Any more questions or comments on that? Okay, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. I had mentioned this before, how that this boy right here, you got Canaan, and then Seth out of Adam's lineage. He got a son called Canaan, K-I-N, K-I-A-N-I-A-N, this Canaan. You got Canaan, which is K-A-N-A-A-N. That's out of Japhat lineage. That's the son that was born from when Japhat slept with Noah's wife, and he got Canaan. Canaan, that was like, I think, third or fourth from Adam. But then you got another Canaan. This is the one right here that they took out of the scriptures. Let's play it. I'm gonna play this. This tied to what we was talking about.
Of Noah and their descendants began to thrive, spreading across the earth as they obeyed the call of God to replenish the earth. There lived Arpachshad, a less known son of Shem, the son of Noah, who carried with him the memory of a world drowned and the promise of a new beginning. In the 29th Jubilee, Arpachshad married Rezerajah, the granddaughter of Elam. She was a gentle woman, skilled in the art of weaving, and their union was celebrated with joy. In the 3rd year of their marriage, she bore a son whom they named Cainam. From the moment Cainam could walk,
this is another Canaan. This ain't the one third or fourth from Adam, and this ain't Canaan. This is another Canaan. And they didn't weed him out the scriptures. But this is what he done and what happened was so significant. Let's check it out.
Curiosity outpaced his tiny feet. He would chase the shadows of birds and trace the stars in the night sky. His yearning with questions about the world beyond the hills that cradled their home. When Cainam came of age, his father taught him the art of writing, a gift passed down from the antediluvian age. Arpachshad had learned it from Noah, who had preserved the sacred knowledge that Adam himself had received. But Arpachshad cautioned his son to use this skill wisely, for the written word carried the power to bless or curse. One day, Cainam set out to find a place to build a city of his own. His journey took him across rugged hills and deep valleys until he came upon a weathered rock face carved with strange markings.
So Shinar. It's the same thing what Nimrod was looking for. He's looking for the carvings and the writings that the Nephilim had left and the giants had left before the flood. But Canaan, this Canaan right here, found him.
Carvings shimmered faintly in the sunlight, their intricate patterns beckoning him closer. He traced his fingers over the grooves and whispered aloud, "What secrets do you hold?" The carvings were writings, older than any Kainam had ever seen. They spoke of the Watchers, those heavenly beings who had descended before the flood, and their forbidden teachings. There were instructions on reading the stars, interpreting omens, and harnessing the mysteries of the heavens. Kainam, spellbound by the knowledge, transcribed every symbol into his own script. Yet a shadow lingered in his heart. He knew these teachings were dangerous, the very kind that had led to the corruption of humanity and the wrath of the flood. Still, he could not resist their allure. The weight of the tablets burdened his soul, but he kept their discovery a secret from his father and grandfather, fearing Noah's anger. Years passed, and Kainam
kept away from Noah and Shem. Okay.
Took a wife, Melka, the daughter of Madai, a descendant of Japheth. Their union brought joy to their families.
See that? Similar to Japhet. Okay. Like I said, when you understand, Japhet ain't none of his son, but they telling you he is.
And in time, Melka bore a son whom Kainam named Shelah. As Shelah grew, Kainam could not suppress his urge to share the ancient writings. By then, he had become emboldened, convincing himself that the knowledge might not be so wicked after all. At first, Kainam taught Shelah the innocent parts of the writings, the movements of the stars, the cycles of the moon, and the changing seasons. But slowly, he revealed the deeper secrets, how to observe omens and interpret the signs of heaven. Shelah, eager to please his father, absorbed every word, unaware of the forbidden nature of his lessons. When Shelah came of age, he married Mueke, the daughter of Kes, Kainam's brother. Together, they had a son named Eber. Kainam, now an elder, watched as his grandson grew into a man of great curiosity and ambition. Eber inherited his family's thirst for knowledge and soon became the keeper of the writings. By the time Eber's son Peleg was born, the world had begun to change.
Peleg. I'm saying, I might be saying it wrong. He's saying Peleg, but it's P-E-L-E. These are two boys I just talked about. Eber had two twins, right? Peleg was righteous. That's on the righteous side. Canaan is on Joktan's side. They ended up in Shinar. Okay.
Change. The descendants of Noah, once united in their worship of God, started to drift apart. Families quarreled over land and resources, and whispers of old practices began to surface. Secretly, Kainam's writings had spread among his kin, each generation adding its own interpretation, experiments with the forbidden knowledge. Peleg, born in a time when the earth was being divided among the clans of Noah's children, grew up in an atmosphere of quiet rebellion.
This is where Christianity come from, out of this, right here.
The teachings of the Watchers, once a guarded secret, had seeped into the hearts of many. The people began to build altars to the stars, seeking guidance not from God but from the heavens. Right. Divinations and omens became common practice, and the harmony that had marked the post-flood world began to crumble. The whispers of rebellion eventually reached the ears of Noah, who was now a venerable patriarch. His heart grew heavy as he observed the disobedience spreading among his descendants. One day, he called a gathering of his family. Standing tall with his staff in hand, he looked upon their faces, his voice trembling with sorrow. "Have you forgotten the flood?" Noah cried. "Have you forgotten the destruction that came upon the earth because of such wickedness? The teachings of the Watchers are a poison, and yet you drink from their cup. Turn back to the Lord, or you will bring ruin upon yourselves." The assembly fell silent, but the seeds of rebellion had already taken root. Some heeded Noah's words and repented, but others, their hearts hardened by pride and ambition, dismissed his warnings. Among them was Kainam, who remained silent. As the years passed, the children of Noah scattered across the earth, each taking their portion of the land. Peleg, whose name marked the time of this division, watched as his family fragmented. The writings of the Watchers continued to influence their actions, leading some to build mighty cities and towers, their pride rivaling that of the pre-flood generation. One such tower, rising in the plain of Shinar, became a symbol of defiance against God. The people, speaking a common language, conspired to reach the heavens themselves, declaring, "Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered across the earth." Noah, now nearing the end of his life, prayed fervently for his descendants. "Lord, have mercy on them," he pleaded. "Do not let them destroy themselves as those before the flood did." In his mercy, God intervened. He came down to see the city and the tower that the people were building. Recognizing the danger of their unified rebellion, he confused their language, scattering them across the earth. The tower, left unfinished, became a testament to the folly of pride and the enduring consequences of sin. Kainam, now an old man, watched the chaos unfold with a heavy heart. He knew the role he had played in reintroducing the forbidden knowledge. As he lay on his deathbed, he summoned Shelah and Eber to his side. "Burn the writings," Kainam whispered, his voice weak but urgent. "They are a curse upon us. I see now the destruction they have caused." Shelah, stricken with guilt, obeyed his father's final wish. Together with Eber, he gathered the writings and destroyed them, their ashes carried away by the wind. But the knowledge, once released, could not be entirely undone. Fragments of it lingered in the hearts and minds of men, setting the stage for future struggles.
That's what they call secret knowledge to this day.
Despite the darkness, a glimmer of hope remained. Among Noah's descendants, there were those who remained faithful to God. They preserved his commandments and passed down the stories of his mercy and justice. From this remnant would come a promise, a lineage through which redemption would one day be offered to all. The story of Kainam and the forbidden writings became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the consequences of straying from God's path. Yet, it also testified to his enduring mercy, for even in their rebellion, he did not abandon his people. Instead, he continued to guide them, shaping their journey toward the ultimate redemption. In the 29th Jubilee, during the first week of the year 1373 AM, a pivotal event unfolded. Arpachshad, a descendant of Shem, took a wife named Rezerajah. Rezerajah was the daughter of Susan, a lineage tracing back to Elam. 2 years into their union, in 1375 AM, Rezerajah gave birth to a son. Arpachshad named him Kainam, a name destined to be intertwined with mystery and transgression. Kainam grew under his father's guidance, learning the art of writing, a skill of profound significance in their time. Driven by ambition, Kainam set out to find a place where he might establish his own city. On his journey, he stumbled upon an ancient artifact, a rock bearing inscriptions from a bygone era. These writings, carved by earlier generations, detailed the forbidden teachings of the Watchers, celestial beings whose actions had once brought calamity upon the earth. These teachings included the observation of celestial omens, the movements of the sun, moon, and stars, interpreted as signs and messages from the heavens. Curiosity led Kainam to transcribe the inscriptions, absorbing their contents. However, this act became his downfall, for the teachings were imbued with the sin of the Watchers. Afraid of the repercussions, Kainam chose to conceal his discovery. He refrained from speaking of it to Noah, fearing his wrath and judgment. Time marched on, and in the 30th Jubilee, during the second week of the year 1429 AM, Kainam took a wife named Melka. She was the daughter of Madai, a descendant of Japheth. In 1432 AM, Melka bore him a son, whom they named Shelah. The name Shelah had a prophetic meaning. Truly I have been sent. Shelah grew and, like his father, sought to...
So let's look at that. Well, connect the dot for you. So we go to back over where I was at, in Genesis chapter 10. So Genesis chapter 10. Okay, let me get it. Okay, you in Genesis chapter 10?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm with you.
Look
Genesis
at,
10.
I just read. Look at 20. 24. So somebody can read 23 and 24. 23 and 24.
All right, 23. And the children of Aaron, Uz and Hul, and Gether and Mash, and Aparkside begat Selah, and Selah begat Eber.
That's Taylor right there, what we just talked about.
Right.
We just, and like I was saying, they the ones that ended up down by the Tower of Babel. So if you look at you see I don't know what kind of Bible you got. King James Study Bible or what?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a King James Study Bible.
So chapter verses in that same chapter 10, verse 21, that's the sons of Shem. And my Bible has sons of Shem listed over top of it, right?
Right, yeah. Yes, sir. Sam's
Okay.
descendant.
And then if you go to chapter 11, verse 10.
Right.
So
Shem's line to Abram.
Right. So you got two different lineages, both of them from Shem, because the Eber had two sons.
Right, the twins. Okay, right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So like I said, go back to the basket, two basket figs. So like I said, Joktan lineage ended up down by Shinar. Now we know why. Okay.
And so, Brother Leonard, these are children of the East?
Right, exactly. Right. They
okay. Right.
Yeah. So they cold trail Nimrod. Remember what happened with Lot? Him and Abraham, they ended up when they got to the land of Canaan, herds were so big, they had so much wealth, they separated. Lot went down by Sodom and Gomorrah. Right?
Right.
He ended up marrying a woman. That's why he was in Sodom when the angels came to get him out.
Right.
Abraham went away from it. He excused evil. Same thing with these two boys. Peleg excused evil, but Joktan, he was interested in that. He ended up down at the Tower of Babel. Okay. Any questions, comments on that? So the video is you want to watch it. Like I said, this channel is called Unmasked Mysteries. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't watch that and get the meat out, but being, with the information that we're dealing with, you can go in there and get the information out, connect some dots that haven't been connected. But so it's this dark secrets of the fallen angels revealed in the book of the Watchers. Okay. So if you want to go watch it, check it out. It's tied to those other videos we watched during the week about the 7 angels and the other one about the 3 types of angels. They all come from this channel. Okay. No comments, no questions. Everybody good?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I got a question about those 3 types of angels.
Okay.
Okay, so the Michael, the Elohim, they're cherubim, correct?
Right, cherub, yeah.
And so seraphim, are they the ones that carry Michael's stone, or no? What are
You're
the 3
breaking up.
classes?
You're breaking up.
Hello, Shalom.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was
You
saying,
breaking. Okay.
okay, I'm sorry. I was saying, what are the three classes of angels? The cherubim, seraphim, and
Okay, you got the cherubim, the seraphim, and then you got I think they call them Oraphim. But in the video that we watched the other day, it was talking about from the wicked side, the 3 types.
okay, that's why I was unfamiliar with it. Okay.
Right. So he's saying that from the time those 200 angels they rebelled, they the ones they was wicked. But like I was saying, at one time they was righteous angels. They was in heaven. They were doing righteousness. They got together and made an oath, and then they sinned, and they came to the earth. Then they made those giants. And like I was saying, those giants don't know nothing about heaven. So their wickedness was greater than what those fallen angels did, because of those fallen angels kind of had a restrainer, because they was at once they know the Most High's laws, statutes, and judgments, right? But their
Yes, sir.
but their children don't know nothing about no heaven. They wicked as hell. And then from the giants came the Nephilim. They wickeder than them. And then from the Nephilim came the Ejo. That's the three types. And by the time you get to the Ejo, they the ones that forced the Most High hand to bring the flood, because they was wicked as hell. Because they was not only were they had part, they was giant, had angelic DNA in them, they had human DNA that was mixed, and those Nephilim started sleeping with animals. So that last group of angels, that last descendants they was mixed with angelic DNA, human DNA, and animal DNA. They call them the Eljo. They was wicked as hell, and they was highly intelligent. But like I said before, none of those three had no kind of understanding of heaven. They ain't know nothing about no righteousness. Everything about them was wicked. So that was the three types of beings, and like I said, that was the reason for the flood, because of what they was doing. We looking at today the remnants of that, like those megalithic cities I was saying, Egypt, the pyramids, all that's tied to that last group of the descendants that came when the fallen angels came down. They was a lot smaller than the original giants that came, but they was more intelligent. And not only that, they was more human-like.
Right. That makes sense even in depictions of movies, and like you were saying,
Right.
Jack the Giant Slayer.
Right. They the ones that had the mail. They the ones that had the swords. They the ones created the swords. They the ones that introduced man to all that violent behavior. That's the missing link that they telling us they don't want us to know nothing about. And so it's a race of it's people on the planet that ascended from them. And so that kills JC, because he's saying that the creator don't know about these people, don't know about this, what happened. So he's saying he said his son to die for all mankind. All mankind, no, all of them ain't got the all of them didn't come from the creator. They came from what these angels rebelled. And so, like I said, when you get them being so tall and all these different characteristics was from the angels. But remember, he locked the angels up. He bound those 200 angels. So he took away the source. So now in 2025, they look just like us, but they didn't come from us. So he ain't sent no son for no, because these people they the progeny of these fallen angels. And when you understand what's being delivered right here, you'll see that's why when you're watching the movies like Gladiator, all them different movies back in Rome, Julius Caesar, and all those different Caesars were saying that they ascended from the gods. That's why they were saying that. Their lineage, they come from they ascended from the gods. They from that lineage. That's why they wicked as hell.
The 200.
Right, they ascended from the 200. Right, and they ain't that blood that's in them ain't come from Yahweh. He ain't sent no son to die for that. That's a lie from the pits of hell. And you're a nut bucket if you believe it. Okay. Ain't there something? So, anybody else got anything on that? So yeah, I was saying that the topic inside is the four beasts, and over the last couple of years or so, since I had this channel, we talked about, and we go to the book of Daniel. Daniel is introduced us to the four beasts. You know, the Chaldeans was the first beast, and then the Chaldeans was the first beast. Then the Medes and Persians was second. Greeks was the fourth, was the third, and then the Romans was the fourth. But we come to find out in Second Ezra, he gives Ezra another understanding, a deeper understanding of what was given to Daniel. And now in Second Barak, we got another interpretation of it. And so when you're at a certain place with your understanding of the scriptures, you know whether to rightly divide or what's being presented to you or not. So what I'm gonna do is, just like the vision was sent to Daniel, vision was sent to Ezra, a vision was sent to Barak, right? So we read it. So I read none of that. Let me get it. Okay. Anybody familiar with that?
No, sir. Now this was one of the books that was banned.
Right. This is I don't know if you've seen it before, but earlier I had let me get it. Let me show you right quick. Okay. Yeah, here. Get it. This book right here. I showed it to everybody before. It's the complete Apocrypha. It's got 54 books in it. So, you get the opportunity to get it, you can get it. But it's what you can do is you can get it used. Like I said, if you go on eBay, you can get it used for like half of the price. Okay. What you got, brother man?
Yeah. I just want to click back with what AJ was saying right quick. So, if we go to Ezekiel chapter 28, right? So
Okay.
AJ, go and grab Ezekiel chapter 28 and go to, like, I think it's start at verse 12. AJ.
Okay.
All right, you said 28 and 12.
Yeah, start at 12. Verse 12.
All right, 28 and 12. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus and say unto him, thus saith the
You
Lord
breaking up.
God. I'm breaking
I
up.
think you have to mute while you talking.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, Shalom. Verse 12. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus and say unto him, thus saith the Lord God. Thus saith the Lord God, you sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You have been in the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering, the sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of your tabrets and of your pipes was prepared in you in the day you were created. You are the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set you so.
Right.
And
So you see what London is showing, the complete book, right? So look what you just read, what he was. He was
right,
the anointed cherub, right?
right.
Right. That's what he was in the hierarchy. He was what covered. So what he was is not what the seven are. the 7, they're not a cherub. You feel me? So now, if you was to go over and read in Daniel's and chapter 2, I believe Leonard is chapter 2, and he's breaking down what these those angels are.
In Daniel,
Yeah.
chapter 2. No, I don't think it's not chapter 2.
Is it 1
what
where
you
we're learning like what the things that are those creatures that are wheels within wheels and the whole
that's Ezekiel chapter 1.
Oh, that's Ezekiel
Right.
chapter 1. Right, yeah.
Right.
So you're seeing the difference right there, in the cherubs and things of that nature. So we see that he's saying what the covering cherub was. So the covering cherub was Satan, right? Or Lucifer. But the
Yeah,
7,
it's tied to worship. Tied to worship. Tied to worship.
Right. It was exactly, it was tied to worship. It wasn't tied to do to move about how God's eyes is moving about. These things like the wheel within wheels and those, they were never supposed to leave his side. You see what I'm saying? So if like I'm saying, if you read that scripture and understand it's Ezekiel 1 or Ezekiel 2, that the cherub and the wheel within wheels, they was never supposed to leave his side. They stay
Right.
they are his eyes at all times on that throne. You see what I'm saying? Versus the 7 that he created from time memorial, before there was time. These were the ones, excuse me, that they move to and fro. They do what they do in his eyes in that perspective. So that's what I'm saying. A lot we read these, what I'm saying, these books and try to equate and put all of them together. So like Leonard just said, well, it was never the 7 that ever could think, right, to say, I'm gonna go lay with women.
Right.
No, they can't do that. That it would never be in their perception, but it would be in the perception of the ones that don't have the authority. You see, because that's what they're seeking. So listen to what the scripture is saying. Sorry, go ahead, sir.
No, I was just saying they was created. Those 7 was formed. That's the major difference.
There you go.
There you go. Respect.
Right. There you go.
Okay. Everybody good on that? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So
yes,
I was
sir.
okay. I was in second Barak, and that was like I said they talk about the 4 beasts in Daniel. Daniel break it down, and then it was also broken down to second Ezra. But I'm in second Barak right here, and this is another take on it. And so, like I said before, when you understand, when you get to a certain point, you know what's scripture and what's truth and what's not. So I'm in second Barak, chapter 53, and this is the vision when the vision started. Because Daniel see the vision of the 4 beasts, just like second Ezra did. So it says, just like Ezra did. It says, and when I had seen these things, I fell asleep there, and I saw a vision, and behold, a cloud was ascending from a very great sea, and I kept gazing on it, and behold, it was full of white and black waters, and there were many colors in those same waters, and as it were, many colors in these waters, and as it were, likeness of great lightning was seen at its summit. And I saw the clouds passing swiftly in a quick courses, and it covered all the earth. And it came to pass after these things that cloud began to pour on the earth, the waters that were in it, and I saw that there was not one and the same likeness in the waters which descended from it. For in the first beginning they were black and many, and afterwards I saw that the waters became bright, but they were not many. And after these things, again I saw black waters, and after these things, again bright, and again black, and again bright. Now, this was done 12 times, but the black were always more numerous than the bright. And it came to pass at the end of the cloud that behold, it rained black waters, and they were darker than had been all those waters that were before. And the fire was mingled with them, and where those waters descended, they worked devastation and destruction, right? Okay, keep going. Says, and after these things I saw how the lightning which I had seen on the summit of the clouds seized hold of it and hurled it into the earth. Now that the lightning shone exceedingly so as to illuminate the whole earth, and it healed those regions where the last waters had descended and worked devastation. And I took hold of the whole earth and had dominion over it. And I saw after these things, and behold, 12 rivers were ascending from the sea, and they began to surround that lightning and become subject to it. And by reason of my fear, I awoke. Right? So that was the vision. Now 54, it says, and I implored the mighty one and said, you alone, O Lord, know of former things, the deep things of the world, and the things which befall in these times you bring about by your word, and against the works of the inhabitants of the earth, you hasten the beginning of the times, and you alone know the end of seasons. You, for whom nothing is too hard, but who does everything easily by a nod. You to whom the depths come as the heights, as whose word the beginnings of the ages serve. You who reveal to those who fear you what is prepared for them, that from then on they may be confronted. You show great acts to those who know, and you break up the enclosure of those who are arrogant, and light up the dark, and reveal what is hidden in to the pure, who in faith have submitted themselves to you and your law. That's the Torah. You have shown this vision to your servant. Also reveal the interpretation. Also reveal the interpretation to me, for I know as regards those things wherein I employ you, I have received a response. And as regard to what I employed, you revealed to me with what voice I should praise you, and from what members I should call praises and hallelujahs to ascend to you. For if my members my members were mouths, and the hairs of my head voices, and even so I could give you the reward of praise. Now, yo sé, estoy viendo que aquí. Déjame lo que hay, man. Hello? Okay, so it says, your praise, nor tell the glory of your beauty.
Hold up,
You gotta
Lonnie.
mute your mic.
Hold up.
You gotta mute your mic.
Who is that? Who is that?
Joseph. Joseph. Oh, let me see if I can do it.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So what I'm gonna do is go to chapter 55. We're gonna get to the meat. We saw the vision, right? But the black and the bright waters and the black waters. So I'm in 55. It says, "And it came to pass when I had finished speaking the words of this prayer that I sat there under the tree, that I might rest in the shade of the branches. And I wondered and was astonished and pondered in my thoughts regarding the multitude of goodness which the sinners who are on the earth had rejected, and regarding the great torment which they had despised, though they knew that they would be tormented because of the sin they had committed. And when I was pondering on these things and the like, behold, the messenger of Remiel, who presides over the visions, was sent to me. And he said to me, why does your heart trouble you, Barak? And why does your thoughts disturb you? For if owing to the report which you have only heard of judgment, you are so moved, what will you be when you will see the manifestations with your eyes? And if with the expectations with which you do expect the day of the mighty one, you are so overcome. What will you be? When will you come to its advent? And if at that word of the announcement of the torment of those who have done foolishly, you are wholly, okay, let me get this word, wholly distraught. How much more when the events will reveal marvelous things? And if you heard tidings of the good, evil things are being coming, and you are grieved, what when you will behold what the majesty will reveal, which will convict those and cause those to rejoice. Then it's chapter 56. Nevertheless, because you have implored the Most High to reveal to you the interpretation of the vision, which you have seen, I have been sent to you, and the Mighty One have assuredly made known to you the methods of the times that have passed and of those that are destined to pass in his world from the beginning of his creation even unto the consummation of those things which are deceit and of those which are in truth. For as you saw a great cloud which descended from the sea and covered the earth, this is the duration of the age which the Mighty Ones made when he took counsel to make the world. That's in the beginning. And it came to pass when the word had gone forth from his presence, that the duration of the world had come into being in a small degree, and was established according to the multitude of the intelligence of him who sent it. And as you previously saw on the summit of the cloud of black waters which descended previously on the earth, this is the transgressions which Adam, the first man, transgressed. For since when he transgressed, untimely death came into being, grief was named, and anguish was prepared, and pain was created, and trouble consummated, and disease began to establish. And Shaol kept demanding that it should be renewed in blood, and the beginning of children was brought about, and the passion of parents produced, and the greatness of humanity was humiliated, and goodness languished. What therefore can be blacker or darker than these things? This is the beginning of the black waters which you have seen, and from those black waters again were black derived, and the darkness of darkness was produced. For he became a danger to his own soul, even to the messengers. For moreover, at that time when he was created, they enjoyed liberty and became a danger. So some of them descended and mingle with women, and then in chains. But the rest of the multitude of the messengers, of which there is no number, restrain themselves, and those who dwell on the earth perish together with them through the waters of the deluge. These are the black first waters. It's the first waters, black waters, right? Then so we keep going. Chapter 57. After these waters, you saw bright waters. This is the font of Abraham, also his generation, and advent of his son, and his son's son, and those like them, because at the
That's
time,
Shem.
yeah, Noah and Shem them, right?
Okay, that's Shem.
Chapter 10. Chapter
Not
10.
not all those other ones, right? Not
Right,
Japhet, not Ham.
right,
His
exactly,
son, right? Okay.
right. So it says, because at that time the unwritten law was named among them, and the works of the commandments were then fulfilled, and belief in the coming judgment was then generated, and hope of the world that was to be renewed was then built up, and the promise of the life that should come hereafter was implanted. These are the bright waters which you have seen. Okay, so we know this happened 12 times, right? So it says, and the black third waters which you have seen, these are the mingling of all sin, which the nations afterward worked after the death of those righteous men and wickedness of the land of Egypt, wherein they did wickedly in the service with which they made their sons to serve. Nevertheless, these perished at last. And fourth waters which you have seen are the advent of Moses and Aaron and Miriam and Joshua and Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb and all those like them. For at that time the lamp of the perpetual law, Torah, shone on all those who sat in darkness, which announced to them that believed the promise of their reward, and to them that deny the torment of fire which is reserved for them. But also the heavens and was shaken from their place, and those who were under the throne of the mighty one was perturbed when he was taking Moses to himself, for he showed him many admonishments together with the principles of the law, Torah, and the consummation of the times, also to you, and likewise the pattern of Zion and its measures, in the pattern of which the sanctuary of the present time was to be made. But then he also showed to him the measures of the fire, also the numbers of the drops of rain, the depression of anger, and the multitude of long suffering, and the truth of judgment, and the root of wisdom, and the riches of understanding, and the font of knowledge, and the height of the air, and the greatness of the paradise, consummation of the ages, and the beginning of the day of judgment, and the number of the offerings of and the earth which have yet come, and the month of Gehenna, and the mouth of Gehenna, and the station of vengeance, and the place of faith, and the region of hope, and the likeness of the future torments, and the multitude of innumerable messengers, and the flaming host, and the splendor of lightning, and the voice of thunder, and the order of the chiefs of the messengers, and the treasuries of light, and the changes of the times, the investigation of law. All right, these are the bright fourth waters which you have seen, and the black fifth waters which you have seen are raining are the works which are Amorites. Okay, the Amorites worked, and the spells of their enchantments which they worked, and the wickedness of their mysteries, and the mingling of their pollution. But even Israel was then polluted by sin in the days of the judges, though they saw many signs which were from him whom they who okay, go ahead. Who made him?
One
Go ahead.
second. I need you to go back and read that shit. That Israel was polluted when?
During the time of the Amorites.
In the days of the judges, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah,
the one
and
that
yeah, okay.
that's
Okay, so
right.
so it says, and the black fifth waters which you have seen raining are the works which the Amorites worked, and the spells of their incantations
Right.
which they worked, and the
Right.
wickedness of their mysteries, and the mingling of their pollution. But
Facts.
even Israel was then
There
polluted
you go.
by the
That's what
sins
I
of the
wanted
days
us.
of judges. Okay,
That's what I wanted us to connect with.
okay,
See? So it was never for us, but we were polluted right then and there.
right,
That's what
exactly.
you're reading is that's, but it was never for us to ever even be a part of any of that. So
Right.
there you go. Okay, sir. Yep. Keep going.
And we was warned. We was warned before we came into the land of Israel about the Amorite.
Right. Right. And
That's the
that,
trick
that's
about
what
it.
it goes so deeper. It goes so deeper because that's what I'm saying. If anybody was, I ain't trying to stop the scripture you reading, so I want you to keep reading scripture.
Okay. Say and the bright six waters which you saw, this is the time in which David and Solomon were born. And there was at that time the building of Zion and the dedication of the sanctuary and the shedding of much blood of the nations that sinned then, and many offerings which were offered then in the dedication of the sanctuary, and peace and tranquility existed at that time, and wisdom was heard in the assembly, and the riches of the understanding were manifested in the congregation, and the holy festivals were fulfilled in blessedness and in much joy, and the judgment of rulers was seen to be without guile, and the righteousness of the precepts of the mighty one was accomplished with truth, and the land which was then beloved by the Lord, and because of its inhabitants did not sin, and it was glorified beyond all lands, and the city Zion ruled then over all lands and regions. These are the bright waters which ye have seen. Any comments on that? Okay, chapter 52, 62.
No, you can't. We can't go no further, man. Like people gotta pay attention. What did you just read again?
Right, this is when Solomon reigned. David and Solomon reigned.
Nah, what is the book? What you just read?
Oh, where I'm at?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's Second Barak, chapter 62, 61.
Second Barak right there, right? Yo, that shit
Yeah,
crazy. I could take
right,
that and go over to Second Ezra's and start at like
right,
7 and continue on to like
right. And
Second Ezra.
that's how you know that this is legitimate.
Yeah,
Then what they say, and then like I said before, you don't see no signs of JC in here.
none
Right, yeah,
whatsoever. You
right,
see, now I'm gonna say something that's it's about to be crazy controversial, Leonard, even
right.
with you and everybody else. But I'm gonna go back to Genesis chapter 2, right? And I'll
Mm-hmm.
go back to Genesis chapter 2, and when he says who he's given dominion to.
Right,
Now,
exactly.
listen to everything you just read, right?
Right.
He never gave us dominion.
Okay.
Okay, he gave 6-day men,
Okay.
right?
Right.
He didn't give us dominion. He gave 6-day men dominion, right?
Okay.
What he gave us, right, was a priesthood to reign over who he gave dominion to.
Exactly.
A lot of people ain't gonna, oh, he gave us dominion. No, he didn't give us dominion.
Right.
He gave us rulership over the
Ex-
people he gave dominion to.
Right. The ones that had dominion is they more like custodians.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Now maybe people will understand just how important we are as Israelites.
Exactly. Right. Right.
We judge
Exactly.
who has
Yeah.
dominion.
Right. Especially the Levites, Judah, and Benjamin.
Thank you.
That's
Not
what
Benjamin.
we got to learn
I'm
from.
not gonna say Benjamin. And I ain't gonna go there. But I'm with you with Levi and Judah. You know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it there. But everything you just read just pretty much answered what I was just saying. Because if you read that shit properly, right, with understanding, you'll see just how bad Israel fucked up.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You see, because it was our job to judge the creation. It was our job to judge who he gave dominion to. And this is why those 7 only dealt with us.
Right.
Does it make sense, or am I
Oh,
crazy?
yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
You know?
Right.
And then when you look at it that way, then it makes sense. But that's why I said that's why I was like, yo, read that shit again, because what did Israel do? Israel fell victim to thinking that they were everybody else, right?
Right.
Ain't that what Israel doing today?
Exactly. Right.
You see what I'm
And then,
saying?
then we didn't. You notice in here, one of the main reasons I was reading it is he keep going back to he keep emphasizing the Torah, the Torah, the Torah. So it ain't no New Testament.
Right.
And so when he mentioned Solomon and David, he goes to the dark times in Israel history or Adam's history, and then when he comes to the righteous times, he's bringing forth the Torah. He keeps mentioning the law, the Torah. Right.
Which is what Adam had that shit. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like he changes not. Like people be like, oh, he changed not. No, understand, he don't change. Adam had it.
Right.
Adam knew what it was, but Adam fell victim to, thinking like the rest of them.
Exactly.
Fast forward now to why he had to invest in a person like Noah. Right? Why? Because Noah wasn't. Now fast forward to Noah and what's his name? Nebuchadnezzar, not Nimrod, and things of that, and see how it's the same story is. So now take us till today. It's the same thing. We got many blacks who we think are, on a certain level, but they ain't. They're not.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Go back to what I was saying about Canaan. See, we thinking we dealing with they didn't link that knowledge from the fallen angels with the Torah. And they got you. You thinking you following that knowledge from Abraham and Isaac and all them to the day. No, that knowledge we dealing with today is linked to the fallen angels.
Right.
Right.
Facts, man.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. Like that shit crazy. So that's why I try to tell my bros and shit. Like, God gave us dominion. No, he didn't.
Right.
He didn't give us dominion. He gave 6-day men dominion, and he gave us authority over who he gave dominion to.
Right.
And when you realize that, then you'll step out of the presumption that you are what they are and you're just now supposed. All of them knew this. They all knew this. This is what being wise was all about, and understanding all of this shit. So many of us wanted dominion, but that's not what he gave us.
Well, right. That's what got us kicked out.
That's what got us. Thank you.
That's
what got us fucked up. Is thinking that we're supposed to think like the rest of these folk. No, that's like saying. So So now, if anybody is saying what we saying right now is some crazy shit, then go back and look at what Michael and so what so you that's crazy. You in what you just read, you just brought up one of the seven that
right, it came to him.
Right, that came to him. So if I go to the book of Ezra, then it's that same dude. It was Ramiel, right? Who
right.
was there, who was telling him, nah, let me tell you how this really works. Let me tell
Right.
you what this is really all about, and
Right.
why that you are of this line and not of every other line, and why we've always had problems. So we've had problems. So how many times you told us, Leonard, that Saul was not the king that God chose. It was
No,
the
no.
king that we chose. We
Yeah, the
was
people.
never supposed to choose that. You see?
Exactly.
So
Right.
he gave it to us. So Mike, what are you saying? God is gonna let this shit play out.
Right.
That's righteousness.
Right.
People
And
gotta
then just like
understand.
with,
Yes, sir.
yeah, just like just like at the end of Israel's, before they got kicked out of the land by Antioch Epiphanes, uh, Nebuchadnezzar chose Zedekiah. That's why he wicked as hell.
Mm.
The Lord didn't choose Zedekiah. Nebuchadnezzar chose. Remember, this chosen seed, Nebuchadnezzar took to Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the 70 years that Jeremiah proclaimed started. You got to it started off at Jehoiakim, but then Nebuchadnezzar took took Jehoiakim's uncle Zedekiah and made
Zedekiah.
him right. That's why Zedekiah wicked as hell. When Jeremiah sent him the scrolls, he wasn't trying to hear it because he not out of that righteous lineage.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't trying to hear that. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. And you know what I'm saying? The creator, the Lord of hosts, is gonna do what? Allow it to play. He gonna allow it to play.
Oh yeah, he gonna play it out. Let it play out.
He's gonna allow it to play out. And that's what I'm saying. Like nobody is looking at it that way. That he gonna allow it to play out because that's just what it has to be. From the time of Adam all the way until the time of the kings of Israel. Yo, the Lord of hosts, God allowed this shit to play out, and you literally just read it right now.
Right. Yeah. So the reason I'm reading this, I'm gonna read as much as I can tonight, and then I'm gonna finish it in the morning with the Sabbath class. But this is actual history. See what I'm saying? Like I was saying about how when you think that they think they super sharp, he's super sharp. When you hoodwinked all this, you put this over here, but it's the actual truth.
Right, this history.
He going all the way from the beginning, all the way then showing you what happened and why it happened. Ain't that something?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, but not many. So even they'll say, oh, you know, they're looking at rivers and seas and waters. Them people, for the ones who ain't making the connection.
Right, exactly.
The seas and them people he talking about.
Exactly. There's some. Yeah, I'm gonna read 2 more chapters. Then, yeah, let me read this. I'm in 62. I'll pick up tomorrow and start at 64. Okay, it says, and the black seventh waters, which remember in Second Ezra that it was 12 wings, right?
Right.
So it says, and the black seven waters, which you have seen, this is the version brought about by the council of Jeroboam, who took counsel to make 2 calves of gold, and all the iniquities which the kings who were after him in case that word worked, right? And cursed of Jezebel and the worship of the idols which Israel practiced at that time. And this withholding of the rain and the famine which occurred until women ate the fruit of their womb and the time of their captivity, which came on the time and a half. We'll say on the 9.5 tribes, because they were in many sins. And Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, came and led them away captive. But regarding the nations in the tedious, to tell how they always worked impiety and wickedness and never worked righteousness, these are the black seventh waters which you have seen. This is the last chapter, right? I'm gonna read tonight. And then it says, the bright eighth waters which you have seen. This is the multitude and the uprightness of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and the grace of God which came to him when Sennacherib was stirred up in order that he might perish, and his wrath troubled him in order that he might thereby perish. For the multitude also of the nations which were with him, when moreover Hezekiah the king heard those things which the king of Assyria was devising to come to seize him and destroy his people, the 2.5 tribes which remained, moreover, that he wished to overthrow Zion also. Hezekiah then trusted in his works and had hope in his righteousness, and he spoke with the mighty one and said, for behold, Sennacherib is prepared to destroy us, and he will be boastful and uplifted when he has destroyed Zion. And the mighty one heard him, and for Hezekiah was wise, and he said, and he had respect to his prayer because of his righteousness, and therein the mighty one commanded his messengers, Remiel, who spake with you, and went forth and destroyed their multitude, the number of whose chiefs alone was 185,000, and each one of them had an equal number at his command. And at that time, I burned their bodies within, but their remnant and the arms I preserved outwardly, in order that the still more wonderful deeds of the mighty one might appear, and that his name might thereby be spoken of throughout the whole earth. And Zion was saved, and Jerusalem delivered. Israel was also freed from tribulation, and all those who were in the Holy Land rejoiced, and the name of the Mighty One was glorified, so that it was spoken of. These are the bright waters which you have seen. Ain't that something? Any comments on that? Huh?
Remiel.
Right. Yeah. So let's help them break that down right quick, because you can see the Lord of hosts in this. It says, and therein the mighty one commanded. See that? The mighty one commanded his messenger, Remiel. So who the mighty one is?
Lord of hosts, Michael.
Lord of hosts, right. He commanded his messenger, Remiel, who spoke who speaks with you, and went forth and destroyed their multitude, and the number of whose chiefs alone was 185,000. So they even lied right there, because he's telling you right here. They tell us he killed 185,000 men on that night, on that day, but he said the chiefs and leaders was 185,000. See that? He says that. He says the number of whose chiefs alone was 185,000, and each one of them had an equal number. So it's way more than that.
Way more than that Remiel took care of.
Right.
That's what I mean. You know.
Yeah.
There's so much. If that's what I'm saying, everything we've been observing and understanding right now, it's very difficult for it to make sense if we stay with the mentality that we have been brainwashed and enslaved to believe that we are and who we actually are. So if you're you know what I'm saying, to look at it and say, from the time that he came down on the mount and spoke and said, "Ye shall be a kingdom of priests," then that's a whole nother concept. If you're really doing the math in your mind and realizing that we are not like the rest of them's DNA.
Right.
You
Is there
see,
some?
our
Is
shit
there,
was never designed like everything you just read right now. If you continue on, all we're reading is, it's like reading the book of Jubilees. We're reading it from their perspective on how
right.
we were supposed to be.
Right.
You
The
feel me?
angels.
Right.
Right.
So
The angels telling a story.
they're telling us that this is who you are and what you are, right?
Right.
Versus you wanting to be like everybody else,
Right.
and that's not what you were designed to be. That wasn't your program.
Right.
That wasn't none of y'all's program. Y'all are here right now because of, choices that were made. But these angels, these seven, right,
Right.
are still saying to you, read this and understand this is what it is with
Right.
you. So this is
Right.
why you would have David behave the way he was behaving, Samuel behave how
Right.
he's behaving. If we go to now, that's what I'm saying. Read now those scriptures and understand how these prophets and such was looking at things now, because
Right.
they was realizing, oh shit, some of them ain't had no choice. Why? Because them within themselves was thinking that they was typical like everyone else, and
Right.
they gotta get it how they live, right? That's what we say in this day. I gotta get it how I live. I gotta be this, I gotta do this. So it was like, yo, I'm gonna put you in a position where you're gonna realize, no. That's not what it is that I'm dealing with. So I have conversations with bros and I tell them they think that they understand something and everything is supposed to be. And I'm saying, well, let me go to Ezekiel. And then I'm gonna tell you, God took Ezekiel's wife, right?
Right.
And he told Ezekiel, nah, you ain't about to cry. You ain't about to mourn,
Right.
right? You ain't
Right.
about none of that. You gonna do what I need you to do. And Ezekiel had to do that. He couldn't
Exactly.
cry that his wife died. He couldn't feel no type of way that his wife was taken. He had to
Right.
go into God's business. And I take scriptures like that and I look and I go back even further than Ezekiel, and because reading that what took place with Ezekiel will cause me to go back to the beginning to realize why. So if I
Exactly.
go back and realize why, then it's like, oh, it makes perfect sense now. Because
Right.
yo, we're not supposed to be of them. It wasn't
Exactly.
what he put us here to be, you know.
Yeah. Like I was saying that when you understand that it says in the scriptures, when we was cast out of the land of Israel, it said the heavens above became brass and the earth beneath our feet was iron. And a lot of people don't get the understanding of that. We as the Israelite men, we was dealing with these angels up until that point. And then when he told Daniel, Gabriel came and told Daniel, the Most High indignation is coming to a fool. So what do that mean? He cut us off. He stopped. To this day, we're not dealing with the angels. Well,
Right.
we in the last days. Now we back dealing with them. But for the longest, we wasn't dealing with them. And so when you come to the New Testament and looking at all that, you can see that those people, they used to making idols and they used to dealing with men. But the Israelites, especially Judah and Benjamin, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, those heads, they was dealing with angels. Angels was coming back and forth, counseling them. They wasn't, it was a whole different ball game going on. And we
Nah,
failed. We failed to where we at now because we weren't dealing with them.
nah. I'm gonna say that though, but them. That's what I'm saying. Now let's everything that you just said, right? Let's take that shit. I'm gonna hold it, right? But I'm gonna also say I'm gonna look at Nebuchadnezzar, not Nebuchadnezzar. I keep doing it. Nimrod, right? And them. Well, we talk this all the time. Weren't they dealing with angels? Was it Nimrod and them dealing with angels as well?
Right. Yeah,
See,
to a
so
limited. It was limited. It wasn't. It
no,
wasn't.
no, we can't do that. So they see what I'm saying? That's why we in the situation we in today. It wasn't that it was limited. Our perception of saying that it's limited, it really doesn't matter. They were dealing with what they thought was a higher power. You see what I'm saying? Our people.
Well, I'm talking about righteous angels.
That's
The
what I'm
seven.
saying.
It was limited. It was limited to
Now,
the access to
this
seven
is
angels,
what.
but they was dealing
But
with wicked angels.
right, but that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like, how the fuck do you know? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So they knew that's what I'm saying. People, like I said this shit before. We can't behave as if Nimrod didn't know what he was doing. So he had depictions. Nimrod knew what was up. And so do these some bitches today. They know. So Nimrod knew. Even then, Nimrod knew. Like that whole conversation that Abraham had with Nimrod. So when Abraham said to Nimrod what he did to the idols, right? Abraham said, "Yeah, I destroyed them idols, because they couldn't talk and they couldn't do anything and things of that nature." Nimrod had to have looked at Abram and said, "Oh, asshole, you making me look stupid."
Right.
Right?
Right.
So he had to deal with Abraham the way it would make sense in front of the people. But at the same time, Nimrod knew what the truth was.
Exactly.
He knew. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He knew. So that's what I'm saying. All of them, they all know who the God of Israel is.
Right.
But they ain't trying to, bend the knee.
Right. It goes back to right here. This guy saying, James Hardy, saying that speaking of the book of Melchizedek, is it legitimate? Well, I ain't never seen the book if I gotta look at it first, but just dealing with Melchizedek, Ham knew about the goings on of heaven from Melchizedek. So that's how he knew.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. No, that's it. That's it right there. They all knew. They all know. But is it beneficial for them? So they gonna keep moving how they move. Look at what's going on in the world today. Like, we cannot take away from what they was doing back then to say that them folks today ain't doing the same thing. The majority of them know what the truth is. They all know what the truth is. But they're going to continue to make it lucrative for them until they can't no more. So it's like, think so if what I'm saying is crazy, then prove me wrong on this aspect. All the people of Israel that was in the goddamn wilderness knew. They saw God. They knew. But yet they still asked for a goddamn king.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
They still ask. So God said, yo, they know who I am. But they want a king. All right, I'll give them one. You see? So it's the same shit. There's no different. Ain't nothing new under the sun. You feel me? And
Right. What these people
2025, we still.
Yeah, what these people done was they, well, like I was saying, they didn't took away the knowledge of the Torah. That's what
Right.
they done by them attaching the New Testament to it. They didn't took away the knowledge. That's what what we was reading in the book of Barak. Barak keeps saying the knowledge of the law, the knowledge of the Torah. So that's where we at now. We discombobulated that connection we had with the Torah, with the Most High's laws that we had got. When he keep talking about these bright waters, when these different men came, Joshua, Josiah, and Hezekiah, and David, and them, that's been lost. It's been finagled.
Right. That's
Right.
that's what I'm asking you. Say that shit again. The time of Josiah.
Right.
It's crazy that you saying that now. You know, and it's back to us again. And now let's look at it. Right. Let's look at it. Is it there? So the time of Josiah was. That's why I'm saying I always say Josiah is the king. My favorite. It was because of the time. So that time was what had happened. And this is what people ain't respecting today. You know why they're not respecting what Josiah understood, Leonard?
Because it lost the Torah.
No. Check it out. Every fucking body got a Bible today.
Right.
So that's not it. You see what I'm saying? This shit is commercial now. It's commercial.
Okay.
You understand? But when Josiah, what took place? Josiah was like, yo, I want this temple to be cleaned and erected and such and so, and put the money to the people to build this shit up, you know, the contractors, and they found a book. Check it
Right. The
out,
Torah.
Leonard.
The Torah.
What they found?
The Torah, Book of the Law.
So these people ain't had that book, right?
Right. Exactly.
But they were still living as Israelites. Am I right?
Exactly. Right.
Crazy, right? That's crazy work. So they found a book, an ancient book, if you really do the math on it.
Right.
This book was ancient according to these blacks or these Israelites. They ain't had a clue what the fuck they were supposed to be living by.
90
So this
years.
was right. Right. Think about it. So this was an ancient book to them at that time. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
So Josiah lost his mind. You see what I'm saying? Now, look at how sophisticated these people are today, where they made this book now so fucking plentiful. How many times you go to a hotel? Not, you know what I'm saying? Don't answer this. But I'm just saying, in every hotel, what's in the drawer?
Yeah, book.
The Bible. The damn book.
New Testament.
Right.
Tied
You
to
see what I'm
it.
saying? So they done made it to the point where ain't nothing sacred about it. That's how intelligent they are. They done made it so accessible to the point where you could be like, nah, I ain't trying to mess with that shit. Nah, that's an opinion. I ain't gotta worry about it. This is what they did. You see what I'm saying? To the point where you ain't gonna read it and say, yo, what am I supposed to live like this? And this is what I was supposed to be living like? Nah, it's just so accessible right now that it's commonplace where you can say, nah, I don't give a shit about what that says.
Right. And yeah, it's way bigger than that too, because first of all, they don't know who they're Israelites. When the Israelite come across it, he don't know you're Israelite, and there ain't no way on the sun. When he start reading it, he gonna be able to hear. Like I was saying, you have to be at a certain level. The Most High done built you up to a certain level, to certain things to perceive certain things in there. So that's what they done. They didn't really they didn't told us off to where we we like he said, the Israelite had the oracles of the Most High.
Mhm.
That's not so right now. He's coming back giving us the oracles, but it used to be verbatim. Every Israelite had the oracles of the Most High.
Yeah, you was scared of a motherfucker who had that word.
Mm-hmm.
You was scared.
Right.
What they say to Samuel, comest thou peaceably?
Yeah, right. Because they don't want him to say nothing that's gonna put a curse on them or bring the judgment on them. Because that's all they had to do. If they were walking in the Torah, in the Tanakh, they can bring forth judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So they
So
ain't
this is
want
what
them.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. This is what we're dealing with now. Everybody got the fucking word, Leonard.
Right.
Right?
Say they do. They think they do.
I'm just saying. Let's
Right.
do the math. There's a
Right.
goddamn Bible even in every hotel. So hotels is trying to get money, right?
Oh yeah.
But they got a Bible in every goddamn one of these little motels. You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's
So
accommodation for the Christian.
right. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
this is what
Right.
they've done to take away the truth of what the hell,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, we talking about. So everybody be like, yeah, that shit ain't that deep, nigga. That shit in a hotel that I'm going
Right.
in right now to commit fornication.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That was
Okay.
early. That was way before any of the social media and anybody who was a moray. You know, they always had that Christian Bible,
Oh
right?
yeah.
In them hotels and things of that nature. So that's all I'm saying. You know, I say that, you know, because if I go back to what we say, 6-day man and the 8th-day man didn't do the math, we ain't never had dominion. If you do the math on it,
Exactly.
dominion
Right.
wasn't given to us. You know, dominion
All
was
right.
given to them. What was given to us is what you just read tonight,
Right.
and you know,
Rules.
yeah.
Exactly. And then and so many people won't when it comes to Israelites, they want to assume their position.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't step into that position. But you know what I mean? Back in the day, we see how that David and Solomon and all them and Samuel, they stepped into the position and dealt with it. So that's what it is. But it's all going back to knowing. Yeah. So like I was saying to James, that book of Melchizedek, I ain't never seen that before. So I gotta see it. I'm probably Google it and see what's up. And then one more thing before I go. Right here, this what we was reading tonight, they got it in the audio. Let me get it right here. It always do, to me, the audio helps out a lot. So you got the audio, Second Barak, the end times, like you never heard it before. So you can go there on YouTube, and it's 2 hours and something. Here go a little bit of it.
Protect the rest of my people, which shall be found in the place which I have chosen.
Right.
And his principate will stand forever until the world of corruption is at.
So that's what it sounds like. So you can go there and everything I'm reading right here is you can see it, you can hear it in audio. It's called Second Barak, the End Times, like you never heard it before. Okay.
Yo, Barak, right? Barak was Jeremiah's scribe, right?
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Jeremiah's scribe, right?
Like Jeremiah was, like I was saying, Jeremiah was being tormented by Zedekiah. That's
Right.
that's the one that Nebuchadnezzar appointed, not the creator, not Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. Zedekiah removed
Jeremiah.
Jehoiakim. Yeah, he removed Jehoiakim, the king out of David's lineage, at the chosen lineage. He removed him, took him to Babylon with his children and wives. That's where he gets Zerubbabel from. And then he put Zedekiah, his uncle, on the throne. Changed his name to Zedekiah. Yeah.
So so this is why God chose a nigga named Jeremiah to do his thing. And Jeremiah if anybody paid attention, Jeremiah was like, "Look, I don't want to do this shit."
Right. And he
Right?
also took Jeremiah's wife. talking about
You see what I'm
Ezekiel's wife.
saying? Right. Took Jeremiah. That he took Jeremiah everything. His friends.
Jeremiah was a spouse. He was a spouse to a woman, and he told him,
"Nah, you ain't finna marry. No, that's
let her
not
go.
what you're gonna do."
Right. Let her go.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody pays attention to how serious and vicious the Lord of Hosts actually is.
Right.
You know, everybody was like, "Oh, it's supposed to be sweet." No, it ain't.
Right. That's what you call righteous judgment.
Right.
But you got to be a righteous servant to adhere to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it don't even matter. You're gonna do what the hell you gotta do regardless.
Right.
Because he say you're gonna do it. So Jeremiah was like, "Look, I don't wanna leave me alone." But guess what?
Right.
Jeremiah still had to handle that business, right?
Oh yeah.
So I don't care. You gonna handle that business regardless.
Right. It's a stock. Like I was saying, he knew what stock Jeremiah came from. He was gonna do it.
Regardless. You're gonna do it regardless.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. So Baruch was a scribe who, so now just right quick, Leonard. So a scribe has no choice. A scribe is going to, like, that is what we call independent media. Right?
Right. Well, the best way to describe that, like just other level of thinking. When I was reading the other day out of second Ezra, when pertaining to Zerubbabel, Nehemiah, Ezra, when Artaxerxes told him, he gave him orders because he wanted to leave from Babylon to go to Jerusalem because he wanted to go and maintain those sepulchres because they all knew they was gonna get resurrected, so they wanted to maintain those sepulchres to keep them right. So Nebuchadnezzar gave him safe passage. He wrote letters for him, right? He wrote letters for Nehemiah, but it says he wrote the letters, and in the letter he said safe passage for Nehemiah and his scribe.
And
Let that firmate. That firmate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now you got Negroes. They jumping up and thinking that they mores, but they scribes.
Okay. I see where you're going, but hold up now. That's scribe.
That's what that is. That's what a lot of drums are coming in there.
Understand. That's what I'm saying. Understand what that scribe is. That scribe is
exactly.
That scribe is going to tell whatever the fuck it is, regardless.
Right. Exactly.
Regardless. That's what I'm saying. That scribe is that scribe ain't got no loyalty.
Right. And then
other than what the truth is.
Right. And so he used,
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he used Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes to deliver the Israelites from Babylon back to Jerusalem, right? And then, okay, they understand. My point is this: these wicked ass men, Ezra,
not
Darius,
Ezra.
Ezra. Cyrus.
Yeah.
Cyrus, Darius. And Artaxerxes understood the scribe.
Yeah, but they had no. Yeah, because the scribe is going.
When he wrote the letter, he included the scribe.
He had to.
See what I'm saying?
Because either which is so. Now look at your boy today, right? Look at your. That's what I'm saying. Look at your man over here, Trump. Right. So let's look at the scribe. So this is why a nigga like would talk about fake media, fake news.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, if you dealing with them, right, these Persians at that time, They was like, nah, let everybody know what the truth is of what we doing and how we operate. We run the world right now. So
Right.
we don't need to make fake news or anything like that. So that's what I'm saying. The scribe, they was like, yo, protect that scribe as well. Why? That scribe is going to tell the truth. So if at any
Right.
situation they was looking at Israel like they was on some fuck shit, no, the scribe is the one that's telling you the truth. Right?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
protect
Right.
that goddamn scribe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which
And
makes
like I said,
perfect sense.
right. Like I said, with they go over, they don't look at the fact that, and I have to keep on reiterating this, is when Joseph brought Jacob to Israel, they don't look at it, but the first thing Jacob did was he laid hands on the Pharaoh.
Right.
Let that front make. That's just like me going to the White House.
Right. And
You know what
put
I'm saying?
hands
So
on it.
the president is subject to Jacob. The Pharaoh is
Mm-hmm.
subject to Jacob. Jacob ain't subject to him. He laid
Right.
hands on him.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was saying, when Nehemiah was in Babylon and he the prophet, he the man of God, what shit described as with him is way
Thank
more
you.
powerful than Darius and Cyrus.
Thank you.
So they
Them
understood that.
the harbingers of the truth.
Right. They understood that. That's what been lost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They the
Yes.
harbingers. So the book of Baruch, yeah.
Right.
Scribe,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's me. Like I was saying, that was one of the points I was dealing with. This was this meat. This ain't no talking about a pseudepigrapher. No, this meat. So yeah. But yeah, you got any last comments where we gonna pick up on from this in the morning from on our Shabbat class in the morning, our morning Shabbat class. I'll read the rest of these chapters because there's a lot of stuff in there.
I had a scripture, but we'll save it till tomorrow.
No, you can go ahead with it.
Yes, sir. Psalms 105, 15. Touch my anointed and do my prophets no harm.
Right. That's what we just talking about the prophet. Every prophet got a scribe with him, so he's saying that you do what you want to do. Darius and Cyrus and Artaxerxes, those Persian kings understood that.
Mm-hmm.
They understood that if they wanted to, or however long they was gonna rule, their rule was according to heaven. So those prophets and those scribes is the most high ministers. So they, according to how they handle them, they knew they the length of their time on the earth or their rulership is according to how they handle the Creator's servants. They understood that.
Yeah.
So
That
keep your hands off of them. You can
yeah.
do that's what this nut book is doing. They don't understand you can't do the most high people on any kind of way. It's repercussions to it.
Hold up, Leonard. I'll do you one better on that one though. Why you think they needed to get rid of TikTok?
Right.
You understand?
Exactly. Right.
It's the same shit. So
Right.
they understood this from day one. What the scribe was. The scribe is the person that is the scribe of today. No different,
Exactly.
ain't shit. No different. They keep the news. They keep the information. They're the ones that's writing. They're the
Right.
ones that's telling the people what's going on. So,
Exactly.
you know, if I
Right.
deal with what the truth is and I'm manipulating the truth, then how are they gonna look at me? So all of these people that were kings back then, no,
Right.
they wanted you to know how
Right.
they would. So that's why Israel was allowed to go back under
Exactly.
those kings. You
Right.
understand? Because the
Exactly.
scribes, they
Right.
understood the scripture way better
Exactly.
than we did. Did they
Exactly.
respect our God and honor our God the way we do? Fuck no. But they was like, yo, we gotta do what we gotta do with these people. So that's what
Right.
a scribe is. Look at Vietnam War. Do you think America gave a shit about that until we saw the images?
Right.
The moment America saw the images, that's when the war changed.
Right.
When everything changed.
Right.
That's what a scribe does.
Exactly. And when you look at that, Aaron was a scribe. Let that frame out.
Biggest scribe. Yep.
Right.
The biggest scribe, and the
Mhm.
number one. Number one.
Exactly.
We wouldn't know what the hell took place on, Mount Sinai. Like, we reading what the scribe wrote.
Right.
Moses, right?
Right.
We reading. We wouldn't
Exactly.
have a culture today if the scribes
Exactly.
wasn't scribing.
Right. Is that something? Okay. Everybody good?
You know
Everybody
me, Len.
good?
I'm be like, hell no, we ain't good, but
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up in the morning. The rest of it, the other half of it. Okay. So everybody, I'm gonna say shalom. Every Friday we here from 7 to 9, or might probably go over according to what we're talking about. But every Friday, 7 to 9, if you want to come in through the back room, you got to call so we can get your information, and then we can send you the link. It's 337-802-0889. Shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it, because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament and Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up, and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is, and the Godhead.